XV1. Up for critical review and reaction is the late, great, Jordan Maxwell in a piece titled, The Island of Lost Souls.
All you need to do is go back back in 1938, there was a movie called The Island of Lost Souls. It was Charles Laughton, a really interesting and fascinating actor. Charles Laughton made a movie back in 1938 called The Island of Lost Souls. Then in 1965, Burt Lancaster remade the movie. He was in a remake called The Island of Dr. Moreau. And then the last and final movie that Marlon Brando made, and I had personal knowledge of Marlon Brando. I met him in some very incredible circumstances that I'm not about to talk about, but I met him and I know him. And so, but he made a movie. His last movie was the remake of The Island of Dr. Moreau. Well, this has been, since 1938 till the last movie Marlon Brando made. They've been continually remaking that movie, The Island of Dr. Moreau. And what is it about? It's about scientists, and a particular scientists, but it represents the scientific community. Dr. Moreau was a scientist. And he was crossbreeding animals with humans. And so he had humans, which were animals, but he could control them by electrical shock that would hurt them. And they were all frightened of this electrical shock that would hurt them. So all the animals, the humans, running around with faces like dogs and bodies like animals, but they were half human and half animal. There is a metaphor there. They're telling you something in a movie. And like I said, as far back as 1938, Nazi Germany really understood the concept of crossbreeding animals with humans. The U.S. was doing it for many years. The U.S. and England and Austria, all three of those countries, probably Germany also were doing that kind of crossbreeding animals with humans. And today, now it's in the open. Now the governments don't care. They're telling you that we're crossbreeding humans now with animals, and the idea is we're going to create a whole new kind of life on the earth. We're no longer going to be humans and with human families, mothers and grandmothers and children and the human family. No, from here on out, you're going to be animals. We're going to feed you sugar cubes, and you're going to do what you're told. You will be in compliance with the government, and there won't be any need for you to concern yourself with what you're doing or where you're going and your family, because you're not going to have a family. Jordan, and so I see this whole thing as one incredible God-dishonoring hell that's coming upon the face of the earth. And this whole idea of the new age of Aquarius, where so many people think that Aquarius is going to bring, and Aquarius is not going to be here for another couple of 100 years. But this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. It's not here yet. The sun's not risen yet, but it's coming. So this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, meaning it's not here yet. It's probably not going to be here for another 150 years. But in the next 150 years, you can see where we've come in the past 100 years. Well, just wait and see where the technology and the mentally deranged fascist murderers who run this world are going to take the whole human race 150 years from today. It's going to be an absolute horror. Why? Because the human race is being completely converted to a new kind of lifestyle on the earth. Albert Einstein had a very interesting quote in relation to all of this. He said that the world today is very, very, today the world is very, what was his word? Very dangerous. He said the world today is very dangerous, not because bad people do bad things, but good people do nothing. And so leave it alone. All the good apples are going to be corroded when the bad apples just keep spreading their degeneration to the group until one day the whole bag of apples are just totally gone. And so the problem today is there's not enough good people doing anything to fight the bad. The bad are now organized crime.
And in that way, they support
criminal syndicates.
They support that crime. They support that deception. They support the evil.
Yep, you're right.
It's an uphill battle, that's for sure. Jordan, from your contact with some of these actors and or actresses from Hollywood, do most of those leading actors and actresses, when they take a part in a movie, do they understand the script? Do they know what the theme of the movie really truly is? And would you say that might be the same in the music industry, where, for example, certain lyrics in certain songs are very enlightening? Do you think that's by coincidence, or do you think those lyrics are given to the musical artists?
Well, music is a little different than the motion pictures, but my sense of the motion picture industry is that if you're going to be successful, and you're going to be a celebrity, and you're going to be successful, then you will already understand that you are a product, and as a product, you do what you're told. It's the same thing in the mafia, in the underworld, in the organized crime world. If you're going to be one of the big shots running the organization, you understand it doesn't matter what you think about what you're doing. You just do it. Because if you don't do it, somebody's going to whack you. Somebody's going to kill you and your family. So nobody's asking you if you like what you do or if you agree with what you do. You just do what you've got to do, and because that's who you are and that's the life you live.
Most people will do that even if it's not under threat of killing their family, but it's the same type of threat. If you don't do it, you don't get a paycheck. You can't buy food.
And then, of course, if you've been involved yourself at that level, you knew at the time you were the big shot movie star, you knew that all the porn and all the child sacrifice and all kinds of incredible criminality that Hollywood's into, and that you are a big shot in that industry, so you know you're safe. Nobody's gonna bother you. You can do whatever you want to do, rape anybody you want, and do whatever you want to do, and do your drugs and all kinds of criminality, but you can do it with impunity. Why? Because you know nobody's going to bother you. The bosses of all bosses, he's doing it too, and so we're protected. We're in the club, we're in the gang, and anything happens inside the gang, nobody's going to say anything. Nobody's going to rat on anybody because they're going to be dead if they do. So you're okay. You're all right. And then one day you find out, no, you're not all right. Because they now have photographs of you. They now have films of you. And now they have pressure. Now they can blackmail you. And that you will do what they want you to do. And they give you a script, and it's really a dirty one, and you don't want to do it. They didn't ask you if you wanted to do it. They gave it to you, and you will do it. Why? Because we will put out the pictures of you doing what you were doing last Wednesday night. We'll put those pictures out there, and you're through forever. Your wife and your family, your career, and everything else is over and done. All you got left now is suicide. So we tell the world what you've done, and we got pictures of it. So that way you will do whatever the studio says you will do. Period. End of sentence. Nobody's asking you. And so if you want to be important in the industry and make lots of money and be important, then you better just keep your mouth shut and do what you're told to do. And hopefully that when somebody's coming to kill somebody, they'll kill your friend and not you.
Jordan,
I know what that's like in Hollywood. I've been there. I know. And I also am telling you that this whole idea of child sacrifice, as ludicrous as it sounds, has been going on for years. Has been going on for years, and I am not surprised it's going on right now today. And I'm not talking about raping and sodomizing. I'm talking about actually taking the life of a child, actually killing them. And so I know that this is something that is actual and real and really happens. And Hollywood is heavily involved in that kind of stuff. It's really one hell of a story what our culture has become in America. And it's frightening because we are leading the whole world. And like the scripture says, the whole world is being led by the demonic. And that's why we are in the kind of shape we're in today, because Hollywood and the international banking finances Hollywood. And, you know, it's just an incredible story. And that's why I realize I want to give back to the world of mankind what I have been given. And I have been given the opportunity to be in the company of incredibly important people, knowledgeable about all kinds of things. And I want to help my fellow man by waking them up and looking at the reality of the world we live in and where it is going.
And I think I think that most of us, myself, I know for sure, Jack, we all have the same basic ideology that we want to help other people, and acting selflessly is a form of selfishness, but acting selflessly to help others and others acting selflessly to help you creates a much better world to live in. I would love, Jordan, the next time that you come on, we can maybe discuss the corruption and the horrific acts and conduct of those in Hollywood. Of course, Hollywood only being one part of an even larger network globally.
Yes, right.
The last thing I wanted to ask you, though, in this after show is, it's a personal question, and I'm just curious. Being someone who has done this for 50-plus years, and I've done this for coming on a decade now, how does someone like you go through a day? I doubt that you get up and you go to Denny's and then you watch the morning news or something. How do you go through a day, Jordan?
Well, because my mind has been occupied 24/7 with this kind of research and knowledge and experiences, I tend to sleep a lot because of depression, and so I don't even get up till like 2:00 in the afternoon, and because at night, after midnight, I'm up till like 5 or 6 in the morning. I can't sleep, and I'm sick because of it. And at 67 years old, I don't sleep well. I use sleeping pills. I have been very sick for a long time, and I'm not getting any better. And it's very difficult for me to have any joy in life at all. So today, I see myself in my life as an old man that's sick and not going to be here much longer, and I have to accept that. And I remember, the vitality and the life I had when I was young and doing the things I was doing. I was fascinated with wisdom and knowledge and all the interesting people I was meeting and all the great stuff I was learning, and trying to do radio and television and traveling around the world giving lectures on all these dark subjects. But today, I now have to realize I'm at 76 years old. I'm very sick. I find it very difficult to sleep. So my main objective now is to do the most I can to put out into the public venue as much information as I can. And to help people, because my gut feeling is I'm not going to be here much longer, and I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. But I'm going to leave a world of knowledge that most people will never even knew existed, and that's one of the things that bothers me right now is the fact that there's so much I have been given and understand because of my experiences, but I cannot tell you because it will endanger your life, and it will for damn sure endanger my life. But I could tell you some things about going on in Hollywood and things I have seen with my own eyes and been in the company of. And don't ask me how in the world were you in the company of this or that. I just happened to be. It was just somebody put me there. And I happened to end up in the wrong place at the right time to see things happening that it just amazes me how much the world of mankind does not know how this world really works. What? I mean, when I see politics and governors talking and Jerry Brown, the governor of California, and I think, boy, I know who he really is, not who you think he is. I know. I was there.
The most amazing part, Jordan, is that baffles me, is how they can keep this illusion under control and nobody, very few people even realize what's going on. That to me is just mind-boggling, how they can keep all of this under the carpet and no one ever suspects anything.
I know, you're right. I couldn't have said it better. You're right. I'm just amazed how people don't even begin to suspect how really highly organized. And the reason why is because it's been working and mutating and evolving this whole dirty underworld, filthy system of power and greed and sex and drugs and rock and roll. All of this stuff has been evolving over hundreds of years. It's getting worse and worse and worse. But most people don't see it because, it's like the frog in the hot water. You just throw the frog in the water. It does. He's at home, and then you turn up the flame, and he doesn't mind because he doesn't realize it's going to get hot soon. Well, that's where we are now. It's finally really hot. The world that we live in is finally starting to wake up to how far gone we really are as human race.
If you had,
and the people who run our planet for us are demonic.
If you had
totally demonic.
One piece of advice for all of the listeners, what would it be?
I would say the biggest single problem is a two-pronged problem. One is education. You need to open your mind and understand that nothing in this world works the way you think it does. I mean nothing. Even your marriage, even your relationship to your children, nothing is what you think it is. So you need to, I say it all the time, your mind is like a parachute. It doesn't work if it's not open. So you need to open your mind and understand that the President of the United States is not the President of the United States of America, the Republic that was founded in 1776. 1776 Republic of the United States of America died in 1861. It's gone. There is no United States of America. Period. Zero. It don't exist. In its place has become a corporation called the United States Incorporated. The United States Inc. is a company. It's a privately owned corporation, just like Sears and like Standard Oil and Exxon. Is a company, a privately owned company. So don't think of this United States as America. This is America, the land of the free and home of the brave. No, that died in 1871. And so we had a civil war back a long time ago in the 1860s, in which millions of men from the north and south in our country were killing each other. So after the Civil War was over, whatever it is that we were when the war was over, united was not one of them. So we weren't the United States. There's nothing united. We just killed half of each other. Half of the country killed the other half. So we're not united. So forget the United States.
And what's the second prong, Jordan? The first prong is education, and what's the second prong?
The second problem is being able to, how should I say this? First one's education, intellectual, oh, I had it in my mind.
Like processing that information?
Well, intellectually, there's a word, and I use it all the time in my lectures, and I can't think of it. I'm getting too old. I can't think anymore. But to be intellectually open to see the truth for what it is. There's a word for it, intellectual. So I guess I would boil it down to this. Education, that's the big problem. Open your mind and read and study and understand how the world works, and also be able to intellectually look at the facts and understand the facts, and don't walk off and and drink your beer and forget all about it. So intellectually, to be able to look at the truth and accept it and realize it, because my God, this is a big problem in America. 9/11 pointed that up to me. I knew we had the problem before 9/11, but after 9/11, it was frightening. That's why, if you'll follow my career, I was doing a lot from 1989 to 99. I was everywhere talking, and then after 2001 with 9/11, I just dropped off the face of the earth. I just dropped out and wasn't doing much of anything. Why? Because I was so absolutely horrified by finding out the intellectual acumen of the people of America could see what happened in 9/11 and never even realize how bad it really was and what the real truth was. And that's what frightened me. It scared me because I could see the whole country. There's a lot of people who saw through the bullshit, but basically speaking, the whole country of America saw what happened in 9/11, and they bought the story. Whatever the government says happened, well, that's what happened. So that's it. They bought the story. And I thought, you mean to tell me my country is so goddamn incredibly stupid and ignorant and frightened and backwards that you would buy something which on the surface is an overwhelming in-your-face lie? We're told that a big 757 with hundreds of people crashed into the Pentagon, but there's no plane there. There was no parts,
no debris.
Plane,
no seats,
and then
no
in
luggage.
Philadelphia, there was another.
Shanksville.
In Shanksville, where 757 crashed into the ground. But yet, when you see the pictures of it, it looks like it looks like an open fire pit, like they have in Hawaii.
I thought it was. I was talking about this earlier on the show in the first hour. How when you look at the bathtub structure that was built under the World Trade Center complex to keep the water from the river flooding into Manhattan, that those two buildings apparently, supposedly collapsed on it, didn't damage it, but then during the cleanup, some dump trucks were driving over it and cracked it. As if it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, most of the material was turned into powder. It was turned into dust.
That's right.
This was much more advanced than just jet fuel.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I remember many years ago when the first space shuttle was coming on the scene, there was an article put out by the U.S. government on it. And there was an article about this new project. It's called the Space Shuttle. And they said, and I pick up on all of these things for some reason, and then I know why many years later. But the article said that on the first space shuttle, they're taking with them and placing it out there in space a laser, industrial laser, which is able to melt a high-rise, and they said it that way. This industrial laser works directly off the sun and atomic power with it, and it's so powerful, the article said, that it can melt a high-rise. And so, I just don't ever, I always remember that. Then when I saw the high rises come down, and I know, I don't think, I know for sure, no plane hit the World Trade Center. Well, how come it just burned to the ground in dust? Well, maybe because we've got a laser out there that is high technology and can melt the high rise. Well, that's what they said. It can melt the high rise.
That's right.
So, Dr. Judy Woods, with her research on the 9/11 stuff, is just phenomenally important.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
the
it really
evidence.
is. It really is.
Well, Jordan, let me pause you there, and I'd like to continue the conversation on the next show that you're on. This has been incredible. Maybe we can talk about Hollywood. We can talk about 9/11 when things really took a turn for the worse. Jordan Maxwell, our guest. Jordan, thank you so much. Jack, our co-host. Jack, thank you so much for joining us in this after show.
Well,
Jordan,
thank you too, Ryan, because it's very encouraging to me in my old age. Very encouraging to me to see a young man like yourself who's not only aware and alert, but actually doing something instead of complaining and ranting and raving and go have a beer and forget about it. You're actually, as a young man, doing something, and that is not only admirable, but it's great to know that there are some young people in America who do have a good mind and are actually seeing what's going on and doing something about it. And that's why I'd be delighted to come on your show anytime. So it's up to you. You call me and I'll be there.
All right, sounds good, Jordan. I really appreciate the kind words. It is difficult for me, 26 years old, trying to find anybody that's even remotely close to my age who's even interested in having a conversation about these things.
Well, just remember that even in the Bible, Jesus said, if they had listened to me, they would have listened to you.
Mm-hmm.
What they have done to me, they will do to you. So here we have the story of the man who's going around saving lives and enlightening people and helping them. And what happens to him? He ends up on a cross, spit on, and dies on a cross. So that's why we have the old saying that you have to carry your own cross. So just understand that's what happens when you step out of the crowd to do something important. Nobody's going to want to have anything to do with you. And one other thing I would say about that is that, and I said to you, I think said this the last time, if you as a normal, intellectually normal person go on a vacation to another city, and in that city is a big mental hospital, insane asylum we used to call them, and you go there to visit that mental hospital, everybody in there is an inmate because they've lost their mind. They're mentally
ill or disabled.
Yeah, and so you roam around that institution for a few hours. Everybody there is not going to like you at all because you're not like them. You don't look like them. You don't talk like them. They like each other. They hate each other. They argue with each other, but they're used to each other. But nobody's used to you. And so you don't even talk like them. You don't look like them. Well, that's your problem today as a young 26-year-old. You're not like the mindless dribble around you. And that's why nobody's going to like you because, you don't run with them and their stupidity. And that sets you apart. But that's the problem you face when you're Nikola Tesla or an Albert Einstein or anybody else on the cutting edge. The world does not want to see you succeed. They're not interested in truth. So just keep that in mind. You're on a very incredibly important mission in this world as a young man to wake up and help your fellow man to wake up. And again, let's do a show another time. Anytime you're ready, I'll be here.
All right. I appreciate it, Jordan, so much. Thank you. Again, thank you, Jack. We'll talk to you both soon. Stay safe.
Jordan, I just want to let you know you are definitely well loved, and don't ever doubt that.
From all of us.
Thousands and thousands of people that follow your work and respect you and love you. So just know.
I appreciate it.
All right.
And thank you for it.
You're welcome.
And good night. Bye-bye.
All right. Much love. Bye-bye, Jordan.